Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the stories that have shaped our thinking for centuries. Today, we're exploring a classic tale from Aesop's Fables, one that holds a powerful lesson about foresight and caution. It's the story of the fox and the goat. It's a short tale, but its message is timeless. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's unravel the wisdom hidden in this ancient story. Our story begins on a warm, dusty day. A clever, perhaps a little too clever, fox was trotting through the countryside. He was feeling quite pleased with himself, enjoying the sun on his fur, not paying much attention to where his paws were taking him. Suddenly, the ground beneath him disappeared. He had tumbled head over heels into a deep well. Plop! He landed with a splash in the cool water at the bottom. Now this well wasn't incredibly deep, but for a fox, the smooth, mossy stone walls were impossible to climb. He tried jumping, scrambling, and clawing, but it was no use. He was well and truly stuck. He paced back and forth in the narrow space, his mind racing. He was a creature known for his wit, and he wasn't about to give up. He knew that panic was his enemy, so he calmed himself and started to think. He needed a plan, a way out, and he was willing to wait for the perfect opportunity to present itself. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher in the sky, and our fox was starting to feel a bit bored and lonely down in his cool, damp prison. Just as he was beginning to wonder if he'd ever see the forest again, he heard a sound from above. Clip clop, clip clop. He looked up and saw a silhouette against the bright blue sky. It was a goat, peering down into the well with a curious expression. The goat had been wandering all morning and was incredibly thirsty. Seeing the fox standing in the water, the goat naturally assumed he was there for a drink. "Hello down there," bleated the goat. "Is the water good? Is it refreshing?" The goat's voice echoed in the well, and a sly grin spread across the fox's face. This was it. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. His mind, always quick and cunning, immediately hatched a brilliant, if not very kind, plan. "Good?" exclaimed the fox, putting on his most enthusiastic and trustworthy voice. "My dear friend, it's not just good, it's the finest water in the entire country. It's so sweet and cool, I couldn't resist jumping in for a long drink. There's plenty down here for both of us. Why don't you come down and try it for yourself? You look like you could use a cool drink on a day like this." He swished his tail in the water to make it look even more inviting. The poor goat was so parched, and the fox's words sounded so convincing that he didn't stop to think for even a second. The idea of cool fresh water was just too tempting to resist. Without a hint of hesitation, the thirsty goat took a leap and jumped straight into the well. He landed with a big splash right next to the fox and immediately started to gulp down the water, completely oblivious to the trap he had just walked, or rather jumped into. The moment the goat's hooves touched the bottom of the well, the fox sprang into action. He was lightning fast. Before the goat could even finish his first big drink, the fox leaped nimbly onto the goat's broad, sturdy back. From there, it was another quick hop onto the goat's head. And then, using the goat's long curved horns as a final stepping stone, the fox launched himself upwards with a powerful spring. He sailed through the air and landed softly on the grassy edge of the well. He was free. He shook the water from his coat, feeling the warm sun on his fur once again. He took a deep breath of the fresh open air. Behind him, he heard a desperate bleating. The goat, having finally quenched his thirst, had just realized his terrible mistake. He was now in the exact same predicament the fox had been in just moments before, trapped at the bottom of the well with no way out. "Mr. Fox!" "Wait!" cried the goat. "You can't just leave me here. Please, help me get out." The fox paused for a moment and looked back down at the foolish goat. But there was no pity in his eyes, only a smug sense of victory. He was already thinking about his next adventure, his next meal. He wasn't going to waste any more time on the goat who had served his purpose. He turned to trot away towards the safety of the woods, but he couldn't resist leaving the goat with a final, cutting piece of advice. As he ran off, he called back over his shoulder, "My dear fellow, if you had as much sense in your head as you have hair in your beard, you would have thought about how you were going to get out before you jumped in." And with that, he disappeared into the trees, leaving the poor, foolish goat to regret his hasty decision. So what's the big takeaway from this little story? The moral is famously summed up in 4 simple words. Look before you leap. It's a message that resonates just as strongly today as it did thousands of years ago. How often do we jump into a situation without thinking about the consequences? We get excited about an opportunity, a promise, or an immediate reward, and we forget to consider the potential downsides or the exit strategy. This fable isn't just about not jumping into wells, of course. It's a metaphor for all kinds of decisions we make in life. It could be accepting a job offer without reading the fine print, investing money in a get-rich-quick scheme that sounds too good to be true, or even entering into a relationship without really knowing the other person. The thirsty goat represents our impulsive nature, our tendency to be driven by immediate wants and desires. The fox, on the other hand, represents cunning and foresight, but in a self-serving way. While we don't want to be as manipulative as the fox, we do want to adopt his ability to think ahead. He didn't just see a problem. He saw a solution several steps down the line. He waited patiently and used the resources available to him, in this case the unsuspecting goat, to achieve his goal. The key is to find a balance. We should aim to have the fox's foresight without his deceitfulness. Before making a significant commitment, we need to ask ourselves the tough questions. What are the potential risks? What is the worst-case scenario? What is my plan B? How will I get out of this situation if it goes wrong? The goat's mistake was focusing only on the reward, the cool water, without considering the trap it was in. This story teaches us the value of due diligence. It's about being cautious, critical, and strategic in our thinking. It encourages us to pause and reflect instead of acting on pure impulse. A moment of consideration before acting can save us from a world of trouble later on. The goat learned his lesson the hard way, stuck in a well with no one to help. We have the benefit of learning from his mistake without having to make it ourselves. So the next time you're faced with a tempting offer or a situation that seems perfect on the surface, remember the fox and the goat. Take a moment. Look beyond the immediate gratification. Consider the long-term implications and make sure you have a way out before you jump in. That simple act of pausing to think is one of the most powerful tools we have for navigating the complexities of life successfully. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this wonderful fable. I hope it's given you some food for thought. If you enjoyed this story and its analysis, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wisdom from the world's greatest stories. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had a look before you leap moment in your own life? We'd love to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.